Good morning, everyone. I am State Representative Marcia Ranglin-Vassell, and I represent this district that we're in right now. I want us to pause for a few moments of silence just to honor and to recognize the mom that was stabbed to death only a couple blocks up the street. Let's pause. May her soul rest in peace. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Reba, thank you so much for bringing all of us together to speak on this very critically important issue. An issue that really needs urgent intervention like yesterday. I think it's very important that this moment be informed and guided by data. Data that's quantitative and data that's qualitative. I think it's important that as we listen and we look at the COVID data, and yes, the evidence presented has been totally devastating to all of us. I have lost people in my district right here in House District 5. But let me be clear. Let me be very, very clear. This is what we have known for decades and decades and decades. And Senator Metz, I love you, Senator Metz. You've worked so hard and you have been putting this argument forward over and over again. But this is what happens when Black and brown communities are silenced and they do not want to hear us speak. I want to share with you what I do know. I do know that Black and brown communities, children and their families, face years and years of institutional racism, structural poverty, and gun violence. Since my election to the General Assembly in 2016, oftentimes I have felt like John the Baptist in the wilderness. When I have spoken, no one listens, or they pretend not to listen. My cries have often fell on deaf ears. And why? It is really because of the systematic oppression of people that walk around in a body that looks like me. I think it is unfortunate, very unfortunate, that we have failed to act. I have introduced a series of legislation over the last 4 years, and I'm sure my colleague have before, that would have, I am sure, in my humble opinion, reduced the number of deaths to COVID in Rhode Island. We're talking about a $15 living wage. Most people that have sadly passed away, they're in the front lines. They're in the front lines. They need safe staffing in nursing homes. We need to pass the bill. The General Assembly needs to step up and pass a $15 living wage. It's not okay that people are working up to 80 hours a week and still living in poverty. That is a shame. It's a moral imperative, and we need to do it now. So, brothers and sisters, the truth of the matter is, Black and brown businesses employ more people than wealthy corporations. Those are not my facts. I don't make them up. That is the truth. We need to be giving tax credits to small businesses, including them in the jobs that are being given, instead of giving out TSAs to fat cats and corporations. We need to do better. So it's hot, and I'm going to wind down in a minute. But let me tell you a couple of the benefits of investing in small businesses. When you invest in small businesses, that money does not go into bank accounts offshore. When you invest in small businesses, the money stays right here in your district and in your community. It's spent in the local groceries. When you invest, or when the state step up and invest in small businesses, we see gross reduction in gun violence and any kind of violence in the core urban areas. You know, the problem is people don't connect the dots. And I'm here to connect the dots with all of you. I'm here to connect the dots as a teacher in Providence Public Schools, but also as a representative and also someone who grew up in poverty and gun violence. I know these things. And that's why we need to elect more people who have lived a life. We fail people when we don't elect more black and brown people and poor white people. We fail. We fail. We could reduce the number of homicides and suicides if we inject more money into small businesses. This is the moment that we cannot lose. What did I just say? Tell me, talk to me.
It's the moment we can't lose.
This is a moment that we cannot lose. If we lose this moment, God help us. We have got to step up, and we've got to hold our elected officials accountable. And if they are not ministering to your needs and my needs, including myself, by the way, you have permission to vote us out. Because, see, government was intended to serve the people. That's government's job. And when we don't do that, we fail. And we fail miserable. Reba gave the state a D+. She's so generous. She's really generous. As a teacher, you know, you do the thinking on that. But I want to say to you, this is a moment that we cannot lose. We cannot lose it. Black people have endured 401 years of systemic oppression. The last thing that I will say, your words and your actions must match. So when you say Black Lives Matter, hello, it matters. But Black lives have always mattered to us that walk around with a chip on our shoulder because we should. Because we have been oppressed, we have been racialized, we have been stigmatized, and we have been left out of opportunities. Let us seize this moment, carpe diem. God bless you.